Hey guys, I know this is not the usual setting that you see me in. Usually it's having individual conversations with people or preaching to a group of people or having someone heckle or cuss at me because of my Christian belief. But here is where we're at today. And this is going to be a property that we're going to be building Gospel of God Ministries' new office. We want to have a place where my family and I, we're going to have a home on this property. We're going to have an office here. And eventually we want to have a retreat cabin where people can come and rest. Christians, we've forgotten how to rest. And we've forgotten how to recharge as a whole because there's so much pastor burnout, evangelist burnout. We want to build a cabin on this property where people can come enjoy it free of charge and come and rest and relax and recharge their spiritual batteries to go back out into battle. But before we go any further, I do want to briefly talk about what's going to be said on this video. We're going to talk about our stats from this year, where we're at financially. We're going to also talk about our 10-year vision as a ministry and what we're going to still be doing in 2022. Well, let's just think about our stats this year and what God's done through the leadership team here at Gospel of God Ministries is really nothing short of amazing that God can take a few 11 men and produce these types of stats. If you guys do want to read this newsletter in a whole, electronic copy, of course. Unless you want a physical copy, just send me an email at office@gospelgm.com. No, excuse me, officegospelgm.protonmail.com and send me your address and I'll send it to you. But you can get an electronic copy on gospelgm.com. Go click resource and click on newsletter and you can receive the newsletter in its entirety, an electronic copy. But through the 11 leaders that have been faithful to preach the gospel this year, 570,000 people have heard the gospel. 526 teams have gone out. 24 babies have been saved from murder. 26,000 gospel tracts have been given out. 175 people have been trained in evangelism or on being evangelist. 35 Bibles have been given out. Now this is a startling statistic. We started keeping track of this statistic this year. Out of the people that we've had conversations with, 145 of them said they were Christian. Only 7 could share a biblical gospel. And you wonder why we need ministries like our ministries. It's just really sad. And then 1,095 individual gospel conversations have taken place with atheists, agnostics, Muslims, Buddhists, cults, you name it. We have jumped into the pool of our culture and had conversations with people in college campuses, sporting events, street festivals, abortion clinics, all over the place. So that's some of the statistics from this year. But I wanted to share with you, as the board and the leaders here at GGM are going to strive, by God's will, to cast a 10-year vision. So God has been so faithful to Gospel of God Ministries and producing evangelists here in the Southeast. We have now 10 here in the Southeast and one of our leaders in the Northeast. So we said to ourselves, why don't we break the nation down into 6 districts? And within 10 years, we're going to break the nation into 6 districts. And within 3 years, we want a leader inside of every district inside of our nation. Okay. Within 6 years, we want to have a second hub established out west that will be producing evangelists just like we're producing here in the Northeast. Now, within 10 years, we want to have 4 hubs, just like the one we have here in the Southeast, producing evangelists out of the local churches to go out and share the gospel. And the only way we're going to be able to really reach our goal of producing an evangelist inside of every healthy church in America is if we begin reproducing leaders that produce other evangelists. And so that's why we are setting this 10-year goal. Now, with that in mind, it's going to take funding, it's going to take strategic planning, and here's a ministry we've organized ourselves with our leadership policy manuals, our board policy manuals, with our curriculum trainings. God has put us in a position to be able to make this 10-year goal a reality. So I'm just excited about what God's going to do. Now, with that in mind, we do have about $11,000 fundraising that we've got to do here for the end of the year so we can reach our 2021 budget and start 2022 strong. We now have an admin person. We have a guy doing behind the scenes podcasting and the video that you're seeing right now. We do need to fulfill a position next year for a videographer to shadow our evangelist as they go out. Not all the events, but some of the events, so you guys get a feel for more of what we're doing. You get to listen to more of the conversations. You get to listen to more of the preaching. You get to listen and be encouraged and trained through what we're doing out in the harvest field. So if you know of anybody in the Triangle area, in the Raleigh area, that's a videographer who would want to use their talents and gifts, it's a paid position. Just contact me at officegospelgm@protonmail.com, and we would love to sit down and talk with that person. We're looking for that position to be filled in 2022. Like I said, we have about $11,000 to make up a shortfall here for a 2021 budget. I know you guys are gonna help us, because God faithfully has always provided for us through the individual saints and churches that you're a part of. So I'm very, very thankful for you. So what we're going to continue to do in 2022, we're going to continue training evangelists. We're going to continue training laypersons in doing the work of the evangelist. We're going to keep doing podcasts and doing videos and doing documentaries and writing articles. We're going to do all the things that we did in 2021 the same way in 2022. We hope that you will continue to be a part of what we're doing. We want you to know that we're very, very thankful for you, and we have the honor to produce this Christian-centered content for you guys. We are going to have a transition with building the office out here, so do pray for that transition period. We're going to have a mobile office, so just pray for us and as all this transition takes place. And it's not going to be easy, because transition is never easy, but we do know that the Lord will grow us all through it. And also, with social media, you've probably noticed this year, if you're watching this video, that Gospel God Ministries is no longer on Facebook or Instagram. And we've gotten off of those platforms because they truly do suppress Christian content. They don't like Christian content. They don't want it seen. They don't want it produced. And they made that very clear to a ministry like ours. So we got off. And so we've chosen other alternatives now. If you're looking for our social media platforms, we're now on gab.com, and we're on Rumble. We're going to eventually, hopefully, be transitioning off of YouTube also, because it is a godless platform too that hates Christianity. It hates freedom of speech. We're going to be transitioning even off of Twitter also. So the two major platforms that we're going to be focusing on will be Rumble and Gab. I think every Christian in the world should be leaving these social media platforms. And if we leave them, they shut down because if they don't have people on them, they can no longer make their money. So that's why we're choosing to leave these godless platforms and go over to Gab and go over to Rumble. Now, as I know, this is a God-shaped vision for the next 10 years, that a man's charismatic ways and a man's persuasive sweet speech just can't make happen. God's going to have to do this. And I would challenge you to have a God-sized vision that only God can do, because let me tell you, if you do something big for God, God's got to come in. He's got to step in and do it. So hopefully we'll be able to look back in these 10 years and be able to say, look at how faithful God has been to produce this vision, not because of some man, but because He is faithful to make His gospel known to the nations far and wide. All right, guys, go out and proclaim the gospel to see a life transformed, because the truth worth proclaiming is the truth that transforms. See you soon. Bye-bye. Is my hair mussed up?